Hello, welcome in, everybody. It is March 2024. Jeremy, what's going on? Are we talking about March already?
Yeah, we are. The year is zipping right along.
It is. We're just hippity hoppiting right into March and
Yep.
spring and everything. So, how are you feeling right now? How is this dragon energy of the year? Are you seeing
Well,
it in your feeling it in yourself and like seeing it in people around you?
yeah, I'm noticing that people are really kind of anticipating the year because I think everyone can feel like the intensity is going to build because the dragon is the most intense in the zodiac, but they're also kind of getting really curious about what they can create. I think that's what people are really curious and getting into this
Mm,
year is where do I want to go next? Where do I want to see my life
yeah,
unfold?
yeah, and dream big,
Yeah.
right? Like really. And one thing I learned years ago, and I know a lot of people in this kind of metaphysical talk do, but when you put something out there, and I know today's a very profound portal, it's a 3-3 energy because it's March 3rd. And there's something about what we're saying, being very mindful of the words that we're using to make sure we're not limiting ourselves. And so, if we do say something, if we do have a dream or a goal or a desire, speak it. It's one thing to like hold it in our heads, but in our brains and think about it. That's a specific vibration. But then when we write it down, that's another vibration. Or when we speak it or declare it, that's another vibration. But end it with something like and greater or
Hmm.
more, so that it leaves the door open that your idea could expand and
Yeah.
be more than what you could imagine. I love that. I personally am feeling that way about this dragon year. You know, wondering what can be had of this and what is the potential. It just does feel really bold, but like you said, it's also really intense. And I'm seeing some interesting things in people around me that are
Mm.
have that dragon energy and how they may not be feeling it as maybe as excited as some people might be.
Yeah, I don't know if personally I've experienced just in the first 3 months of this year some really big shifts that I've been really wanting for the last couple of years. So I think that if we're able to dream big, and also ask for what we want. I think that there's this kind of stigma in the world, especially if you come from the world of religion, that there's this, you have to be a certain rank in your religion or spirituality or
Mm-hmm.
Christianity to get assistance from the angels or assistance. That's not true. That's
Mm-hmm.
all a bunch of bullshit. We need to really start getting into the ideology that we're
Yeah.
all human beings. We're all having a spiritual, we're spiritual beings having a human experience, and we get
Mm-hmm.
to ask whenever we need assistance.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also for our dreams. That's why we're being asked to dream bigger this year.
Mm.
So,
Yes, 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 yes. Okay. However, it just feels like March with this yin fire rabbit that's sneaking out of its hole.
yeah,
It's giving us a little bit of a flashback into last year because
absolutely.
last year was the year of the rabbit.
That's exactly what's going on in the Western world, too. Yep,
Really? It just
absolutely.
feels like the rabbit is saying, hold on, before you start going really big,
Yep.
did you tie up loose ends? Do
Yeah.
you come full circle? Did you give thanks? Did you party and celebrate for what you've accomplished? It's saying go at it. I mean, the rabbit is that quick energy and fire can be quick too, but I just think it's kind of giving us a moment of pause, reflection. And it doesn't have to be like, oh shit, I got to go back and do the work now, or I don't want to go
No.
back there. It's just, it might be just being present and being okay with where you are
Mhm.
and seeing this as a starting point rather than you feel like you're having to drag some stuff. Not that maybe it is, you know, flipping the pages and going back through your journal or your diary or your calendar and kind of looking at everything that you've accomplished, what you were able to get through, what you persevered. because this rabbit's kind of coming out of the hole into the light, the yin fire light. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, but I don't know. What are you feeling?
Well, the rabbit is a wood animal, right? And wood is what fuels fire. So this is why we have to do an inventory of 2023. What did we learn? How far did we come? Not how far do we have to go, but how far did we come?
Yeah.
What kind of things did we accomplish? What did we learn? What are our big takeaways? We don't have to go all the way back through the year and experience it again.
Mhm.
But when you decide to start moving forward and when you light that spark, the rabbit's going to take it. It's going to take
Mhm.
it far, right?
Mhm.
The wood's going to fuel that fire and it's going to get bigger and bigger. So for the first half of the month, it's a really good time to just kind of take inventory. Get into the
Mhm.
emotions of 2023 and what we learned emotionally,
Mhm.
and really be impeccable with our word this month in our
Yes.
relationships so that we can really kind of burst forward with that rabbit energy. It's new beginnings and spring energy, you know.
Mhm.
We're all kind of, I mean, here in Utah, we're looking outside and it snowed last night and we're like, oh, thought it was almost spring. But again, that's why the rabbit's kind of coming out of its hole and kind of just peeking a little bit. It's
Mhm.
not like pounding out yet. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Because here's the thing. Next month is a doozy on many levels.
yeah, it
And so,
is.
and we'll talk about that next month. So this just feels like such an opportune time to kind of clear our plates,
Hmm.
purge. One of the visions I got was, okay, the bunny's coming out of its den, its hole, whatever you call it, and it's like pulling all the old bedding out
Yeah,
and taking it out, letting it air out, creating a new nest, what is needed for the next brood, the next creation, the next birthing that you're going to birth forward. Because that's what bunnies do. They make babies. They're
yep,
very procreative. So, what are we birthing? So, this is like preparing the nest, preparing our spaces, our homes for what we're creating, which is going to get this huge shove, this huge boost in April and beyond. I
yep,
just think it's an incredible, and I know we've talked about this before, but the divine timing or the alignment, whatever you want to call it, of how this all plays out, it just floors me. I'm just so in awe of the astrological systems, the flying stars, the Western astrology. It's just amazing how stuff plays out for us. And
yes.
when we're aware of that energy, we can just tap into it. We can sit with it. We can watch it. We can, whatever we have to do with it, but be a part of it.
Yeah, yeah,
So, roosters might have a little bit of a rough month.
yeah. Well, roosters are really used to using their voice. They're usually used to, exercising their throat chakra and
Mhm.
cock-a-doodle-doo, and they're kind of
Strutting their
assert their
stuff.
power. They're strutting their stuff, and they're kind of the large and in charge. And when it's the month of the rabbit, they need to kind of be a little bit more aware of what they're saying.
Hmm. Great call. Great call. I'm looking at my flying star notes. It's good, isn't it? I think it's the whole month, according to flying stars, is wherever there's a negative star, there's a positive star. So there's kind of a
Mhm.
lot of about yin and yang, harmonizing, neutralizing.
Yeah,
So I think it's more about wherever you lean in. And I think that fits what you're saying about being impeccable with your words. What's your thoughts? What are you speaking? And is it in alignment with where you want to go? You know,
yeah,
fake it till you make it. If you're not feeling good, just pretend you are.
hmm,
It's just a vibration. Say you are
yeah.
until you can override those lower vibrations. So what is happening in the Western world?
Oh my gosh, so much. So, like you said, April's going to be a doozy, but we're going to start to see um, uh, you know, precursor of things to come at the end of the month of March into April.
Okay.
And the biggest major astrological event of 2023 is happening at the end of March into the middle. It'll be exact at the middle of April.
Mm,
And that's the conjunction, meaning when two planets are right in alignment with each other or right next to each other in an astrological chart, they call that a conjunction.
hmm.
When they're within 7 degrees of each other, there's 30
Okay.
degrees in an astrological sign. So when a planet comes together within 7 degrees, they call that a conjunction. And Jupiter, the planet of good fortune and abundance, philosophy, optimism, is coming
Mm,
together with Uranus, the planet of expecting the unexpected. It's also the planet of revolution. So we're seeing major, major shift in the collective end of March all the way through the month of
mm.
April. Now, both of these planets are coming together in the sign of Taurus. Now, Taurus is the sign of slow and steady, hard work.
Oh,
It's the
interesting.
sign of the bull. And so when Uranus, the planet of kind of earthquakey kind of energy, makes really seismic shifts in the sign of Taurus.
Mm,
Taurus is very grounded earth energy, and Uranus comes to shake it up. So the last time this conjunction came together was in May of 1941, which was right during World War II, which is when conflicts really started to erupt. Now, I'm not saying that's exactly what's going to happen. History does repeat itself, but there's always a twist, right?
hmm,
We've got two major conflicts going on in the world with major wars
hmm,
erupting. We're going to see a huge shift in that over the next 2 months, in especially into April. But but when we can kind of take a look at that in our own charts and how it looks to us, Taurus is also the sign of values and self-value.
mm,
So where have we been stuck in the mud? Where have we been kind of
mm.
grounded and earthy and stubborn?
Yeah.
Well, the planet of optimism shines a light on that stubbornness and shines a light on where we need to change, where we need to make that change, because the energy is there for us this year and especially this month. So, towards the end of the month, after we've done all of that kind of psychological inventory of 2023, let it go because,
Hmm,
we've got this new moon in the sign of Pisces on March 10th. And
hmm.
Pisces is the last sign in the zodiac. We have six of the 10 planets are going to be lined up in the sign of Pisces, which is the sign of endings.
Oh, that's a big one for me, right? Because I have a lot of
Yeah,
Pisces in my
you've
chart.
got a lot of Pisces in your chart. So really close those chapters from 2023. Take what
Hmm,
we've learned and move to the next step because then when we get Aries season towards the end of the month, then we have these new beginnings. But during that new moon in Pisces, ask the question, where can I dream bigger? What chapters can I close this month so that I can be really in alignment with all of the opportunities coming? Now,
mm,
again, there's some pretty gnarly energy going on in the world, but really take advantage of where the change energy is happening within all of us. So that whatever changes we make on the inside, it has a ripple effect.
hmm,
And it really ripples out there to everyone else in the collective community of the world.
hmm,
Then towards March 25th, we've got the full moon in Libra, which is really a powerful transformational energy of letting go of what's holding back in our relationships and finding balance and
hmm.
peace. Libra is the sign of balance.
Okay.
So if we're finding ourselves off balance with the inventory we're doing from 2023, let it go. Especially on the 25th, let it go. Both moons this month are really excellent for all of the witchy rituals that we want to do. There's no negative aspects connected to them. So really take advantage of
Let
that
me let
energy.
me ask you real quick. Um, when you say let it go, because we hear that term a lot,
Yes.
what does that mean to you? Like, because I think
Oh,
for
that's
some
such a
people
good
it feels
question.
like I can't just let that go because it's like I get triggered later about it or it's still there in my house or like what do you mean let it go? Is there
Well,
a process or
yes, and part of what I have found is the most powerful is awareness.
mm,
When you have awareness of what your blind spots are that you can't see, whether it's hearing it from your husband or your kids or your friends are always going to be the best because they're the ones that are not going to be afraid to call you out for your bullshit, right? So when you're can be you can be in awareness of a blind spot. The minute you're aware of what that power is, the power dissipates and it doesn't hold on to you
Brilliant.
anymore.
Brilliant. Love that.
So when you can be aware of any kind of unfinished energy of 2023, whether it's just solidifying a schedule for yourself, solidifying a routine, starting that thing that you wanted to start that you just haven't given yourself permission to start, do it
Yeah, because when you're
and
not
become
a
aware.
yeah, because when you're not aware, those things are keep nudging you. They keep poking you and
Yeah,
irritating you. And then once you have that awareness, there's so much power in that. So thank you for sharing that. I love that because I think a lot of people think, let it go. That sounds like a lot of work. Or
yeah,
am I supposed to write it out and burn it? Am I supposed to, the awareness is so easy.
yeah.
It really is. And once you
And if
start
you're
waking up, then everything else starts popping up and you become super aware.
right. Now, you may be asking the question, how do I become aware?
Mm,
All you have to start paying attention to is what you're tolerating in your life. What are those little
mm,
things that are poking at you? What are those little things that are just frustrating you and bugging you? What are those tolerations that you're holding on to and you're worried about addressing?
mm-hmm.
As you pay attention to and become aware of those tolerations, then it leads to a next step of becoming aware of where your blind spots are.
Yeah. Wow. That just happened to me this morning. Okay, go on. Sorry.
No, that's perfect. I love that. And that's what you're going to notice over this month.
Mm-hmm.
That little rabbit's just peeking out because it wants to clear the sheets. It wants to,
Mm-hmm.
do all of the things that you can do. And again, March, Aries season marks the beginning of the Western astrological year. So this is a great time to get all of the garbage out of your house.
Mm-hmm.
and Put it out in the garbage can and let it go.
You know
Release
me,
it.
you've seen my garage door when it's open. It's going.
You're going through a big transition right now with your living situation. So,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
you've been purging a lot. So, yeah, continue that energy through March because
Hmm.
again, April's going to be a doozy and we're all going to be part of this major collective shift. And it's going to be a seismic shift.
Yeah, I agree. I've been hearing some talk about earthquakes.
One of the reasons why you're hearing about earthquakes is because Uranus is in the sign of Taurus.
Taurus, okay.
That played a huge part in the earthquake that we experienced in 2020 here in Utah.
Mm,
Uranus was setting off some negative aspects, meaning challenge energy, that was creating that shift. So that's definitely something to be aware of for
hmm.
2024.
Okay. Wow. Anything else that you on your list of planets and
No, I've been excited to meet today because I there's so many things going on for the month of March and April. This is the major point. This is the
I
major
agree.
point of 2023. So
Yeah,
get ready.
I
It's gonna be a
agree.
wild one.
But we're here for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's what do you in some of what you're saying, I can hear some people or I know some people who really struggle with change. Feeling comfortable and change feels like it's I think when you hear change too, people think it's got to be big. But we can make little change, right? Just that little
Yeah.
pebble dropped in the water. The
Yeah.
ripple gets bigger as it goes out. It doesn't need to start big.
No.
And so it can just be, like you said, the awareness. It can be changing just a behavior, a routine up a little bit, your drive home. Making just the littlest change is kind of an indicator that you're shifting your energy. I'm not ready to go big right now, or I'm going to do the best I can today.
Yeah.
So, what do you say to clients or people who struggle with the change part? Because not everybody's
Well,
chart is
no.
welcomes change.
That's why Taurus people have been just getting the shit kicked out of them for the last 6 years, while Uranus has been in its sign, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Taurus energy is very slow and steady. It's earthy, right? So earth signs don't like change. They don't want to change.
Mm-hmm.
But oftentimes the universe will create the seismic shift in order to change us. So just because there's a major change going on in the world, we can look at that major change going on in the world and just make a slight alteration in even our mindset
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
rather than, oh my gosh, I'm going to pay attention to what's happening over the next couple of months because I've got to prepare and I've got to get food storage and I've got to be really afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can say, I'm just going to get curious and I'm going to grab my popcorn and my wine and take a sip and take a bite and just see what happens.
Yeah, just
Because
watch.
then it leaves you open to possibilities of rather than going into the fear and scarcity, you're going into a trust cycle where you're
Mm-hmm.
thinking, okay, I'm part of this universal energy too. Where can I make changes in my personal life? Even if it's taking all of the stuff out of that closet that you haven't looked at in 5 years and just take
Mm-hmm.
a lot of it out to the garbage and or to
Yeah.
Goodwill and
Mm-hmm.
replenish it.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I just can't let these conversations go. I just want to keep talking to you. I love everything that you're saying. I totally resonate with that. You know, you mentioned the war stuff before,
Yeah.
and I think we forget that we think that everything is outside of us. If it's happening in another country or if it's happening in another city, it's outside of us. It has nothing to do with us. And part of this change and part of shifting our mindset and clearing house, I think we should include the inner battle that's going on within each of us.
Mhm.
We're at war with ourselves because we make decisions in our mind, but then our actions counteract that. Or we don't follow through with a promise. We look at ourselves in the mirror and we say bad things. This internal war is manifested to an all out war with our neighbor, with our brothers and sisters. And if I'm not, you know, if we're against something like anti war or anti whatever these political decisions that people are making, you're
Mhm.
stepping into that war mindset that
Yeah.
you're fighting against something. And so I invite us to not see it as that polarization or that we have to go against something to fight it, to make it right, because what might be right to me may not be right to others. Because
Yeah.
we're all here for such an individual experience on such a unique planet with polarity and duality and all of that. I don't know what my moral of this conversation is. I just, I want us to, come to peace with ourselves, right? To clear that out, maybe to shift some of that mindset and be a part of that kind of change so
Mm.
that your ripple is I'm grounded, I'm centered, I'm not battling anything inside of me. Therefore, you know, the people around me or the people that I see on the news, I'm not complaining about them or mad at them. It starts here. You know, it is that term, be the change you want to see in the world. We have
Yeah.
to each individually take responsibility for our part of feeding this collective energy that we're experiencing right now.
Yeah.
There's nobody to blame but ourselves. You can't blame the other side or those people. We are co-creating all the time. And I
Yeah.
think we need to step up and take care of ourselves.
Well, Pisces is the sign of compassion. The rabbit is the sign of
Hmm.
compassion. So both of those energies are
Beautiful.
coming together this month and allowing us to find the compassion
Yeah, for ourselves
for ourselves and
and
for
others.
everyone.
Yeah. Okay, well, I brought that way down. Okay, Jeremy, lighten us up.
I hope there's a good card for us this month. Jeez. Oh, interesting. Queen of Fire.
Oh,
Yeah, the Queen of Fire is, she possesses all of the traits, confidence, warmth, intelligence, graceful energy. And she wants us to stretch our wings and fly, assert our independence, and really,
Mm,
really go forward with the things that we want to do.
mm.
So this really kind of speaks to the end of the month as we enter that Aries season, that Aries cycle. So do the releasing for the first couple of weeks of March, and so that we can embrace all of the things that we're wanting to move forward in for 2024.
Amen. Love you. Thank you,
Love
everyone.
you.
Bye
Bye.
bye.